Recording. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashley Sias. I'm the Advising Center Coordinator for the College of Science Advising Center. Just want to make sure, can everyone see my screen good? Are we good to go? Perfect. So I have a few people on the call that I'd like to introduce. So first up would be Dr. Givens. So Dr. Givens, if you want to say hello.
Hello.
She is our math department chair, and so we wanted to welcome her, and she's going to give us some department updates, advising updates, so we'll hear from her in a second. And then we also have Francine Bonneville, who is our STEM Success Initiatives Coordinator. I always get confused on your title. Sorry, Francine. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Francine.
I still get tongue twisted with it myself, so I don't ever think I say it really flowing great. But hi, my name is Francine Bonneville. I am the STEM Success Initiatives Coordinator. I am, so basically what I do is I'm gearing up to prepare resources for students who are not in first year programs, and that's what we're doing currently right now.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into department advising updates. So Dr. Givens is gonna share just a few updates and information with you all. So I'll go ahead and turn over the floor to her.
Thank you, Ashley. So I think I remember some of you, most of you from orientation this summer. So it's nice to see you again. The department is gonna be sending out an email on September 28th with information about advising. But I can give you a preview of that information right now. We're going to have two main forums that you can start getting advice about your classes. So first of all, we're going to have a group advising session over Zoom, led by the advising committee. And that is scheduled to happen on October 6th, which is a Thursday, at University Hour, which is noon to 1 p.m. So October 6th, noon to 1, we'll have a group advising over Zoom. So you can attend that, you can ask questions, there'll be a presentation. And then they'll go into breakout rooms for the different topics. So there'll be one breakout room for people who want to learn more about getting a high school teaching credential. There'll be another breakout room just for people in pure math, but who are not necessarily interested in a teaching credential. There'll be a breakout room for applied math and a breakout room for statistics. So you'll be able to talk specifically with faculty in the different areas. If you don't want to, or you can't make the group advising, then an alternative is that we're going to be setting up an interactive video system kind of thing in a Blackboard organization that you can go in and do on your own time and interact, answer questions, and then it will give you different information based upon what you say. And so you could do that. So we're going to ask every math major to do one of those two things, either go to the group advising or do this interactive video thing. And then after doing one of those things, if you still have further questions, you will have an assigned advisor and you can email your assigned advisor with your questions. If they're specifically about math, then the faculty advisor can help you. If you're a freshman or sophomore, but your questions are more about like GE or university policies or things like that, then maybe you'd want to go to the College of Science Advising Center, which is Ashley and her team. Yes. Okay, and I'm seeing some questions in the chat, people wanting to switch out of math.
Yes.
So most of what I'm saying is really just for math majors.
Yes.
If you want to switch out of math, I think you'd want to go to the advising center for the college that you want to switch into and reach out to those advising centers, maybe try to make an appointment. So for accounting, it would be in business.
Yes.
You're certainly welcome to stay here, and I think there will be some information here probably that might be useful to all majors. Is that right, Ashley?
Yes, yes, and yes, that is true. This information is definitely can be applicable to all majors, so feel free to stay. I am going to go into a piece where I talk about the curriculum, and so that may not be as helpful, but the other things that I'll be sharing are probably still helpful for you. So feel free to stay. If not, you do not need to stay. Also, for law as well, that's outside of the College of Science too. So we don't have a pre-law option, but there is some maybe more law-related type majors in the College of Letters, Arts, and Social Sciences.
Although I have to say that to become a lawyer, you have to take something called the LSAT, which is, it's like the SAT, but for law school. And the students who do best on the LSAT are the math majors.
Woo!
Just FYI.
Love that
Because it makes you
fact.
think logically, which is what you need for law. But you could also consider like political science or economics, maybe things like that. Might also be good pre-law sort of degrees.
Yes.
But there's a lot of choices for that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Ashley. I'll hand it back to you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so just some overall, just overarching housekeeping items. So one of the things, and you all are doing it already, if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat and we will answer them at the end. Also, if you can update your Zoom first and last name to be listed, just so that when I run a participant list, I can see who attended. Other thing is just for just the sake of this presentation, if you don't mind keeping yourself muted, just so everyone can hear, just so we don't hear any background noise. And then as I kind of mentioned at the beginning, this session will be recorded and will be placed on YouTube for others to view. So for a lot of your peers and colleagues who weren't able to join us today in the live session, this will be recorded. And I'll also be sharing this link with the math department and with the math students as well. So I just want to go ahead and dive right in. And this, again, information can be applied even if you are planning on switching out of the math major. So first things first is every term there is a list of fall 2020 important dates. In the College of Science, we create a flyer like this every term and we email it out to all of our students just so that they're aware of what they can expect for that term. So currently we're in this period of September 3rd through the 17th where students can withdraw and receive a W. So that means if you still wanted to withdraw from a course, you technically could. However, you will lose some money for that course and your financial aid may also be impacted if you drop below 12 units. So I'd always encourage that you consult with an advisor first before making that decision. If for whatever reason, after September 17th, you want to withdraw from classes still, then you would be able to withdraw by using a serious and compelling reason petition. So it's called a petition, withdraw by petition for serious and compelling reasons. At this point, you actually do need to have some sort of documentation and you need to kind of go through the different approval levels. The next dates that I wanted to kind of highlight are coming up for registration. So Dr. Gibbons mentioned that advising kind of meeting that's going to be happening, and that's happening in October, about a week or so before registration starts for spring. So believe it or not, I know you're probably just getting settled into fall classes. You're actually going to be registering for spring classes in about a month from now. So if you are in any of our priority registration programs, meaning if you are a veteran or if you are an athlete or if you are in any sort of priority registration programs, you will be able to register October 12th through the 13th. However, if you are not in any one of those programs, you will be captured in the window of October 14th through December 2nd. I wanted to highlight some things here, just because a lot of students will say, Ashley, you know, my friend got this date and I got this date. And so the reason that you may have different dates among your peers and colleagues is that registration dates and times are actually assigned by class level. So the first class that goes first is seniors. So the students that are closest to graduation, then juniors, then sophomores, then freshmen. And so that's the reason why there's kind of that breakdown there. Also, there is a specific day and time that you are given. So it may be October 15th, but not until 5 p.m. So a student may email me on October 14th and say, it's 8 a.m., why can't I register? And I'll have to, you know, kind of show them on their Bronco Direct account that their time is actually at 5 p.m. And so for that reason, just wanted to kind of highlight that information there. The other things I won't go into too much detail about, but one of the few dates that I wanted to mention are obviously finals, which is December 7th to the 13th, but also when fees are due for your spring 21 term. So this is just kind of a quick snapshot. Like I said, if you are in the College of Science, every semester you will get this flyer emailed to you. I encourage you to put these dates on your calendar, on your phone, however you stay organized, just to make sure that you're aware of these dates. In addition to that, though, we have our social media, and I know it's a little grainy here, but we send out this flyer to you, and I'll have a slide at the end of this PowerPoint too that'll show you what our social media handles are. So please feel free to follow us, because we will often tell you on our social media accounts what dates are coming up. We do have a question in the chat, and it says, are EOP students part of priority registration? Typically not, no, unless they have told you that prior, but if they have not, then usually are part of general registration. Okay, so some overall tips for success, and again, this can be applied to any major, regardless of whether or not you're in the College of Science. So one is regularly check your Cal Poly Pomona account. And so checking your Cal Poly Pomona email account is very, very important. The reason for that being is that is the formal communication channel that we use to communicate to our students, especially because we are remote and especially because we are virtual. That is the only way that we really can communicate with you all. So I want to give you all a pat on the back just because you all read your email. Otherwise, you wouldn't have known about this session. So you get emails from advising, you get emails from your department, you may get emails from your faculty, and a lot of other offices on campus. So I tell students, why don't you go ahead and check your email about once a day? I usually will recommend students to do that. The other thing is regularly checking your Bronco Direct account. And I have some screenshots that I'm going to show you in just a second. This is very important as well because on your Bronco Direct account, there's areas that may let you know if you have a hold or when your registration date and time is. So it has a lot of important information, your financial aid information if you receive financial aid, etc. Our next thing is understanding how to read your degree progress report. You can also find this on your Bronco Direct account, but your degree progress report is one of the 3 tools that you can use in order to kind of navigate your time here at Cal Poly Pomona. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in some more screenshots. Next is being aware of advising and registration timelines. So as I kind of just mentioned that slide before, it's very important to have those dates and timelines and calendar dates on your organizer or whatever you may use. Next is taking 30 units every academic year. So you can choose to take 15 in the fall, 15 in the spring, or maybe catch up on any units that you may be missing in the summer as well. The next thing is getting involved in clubs and organizations, which creates connection and belonging. And so it's very, very important, and I cannot stress this enough, especially in this virtual environment, to connect with peers. I know we're all, at home and trying to navigate this new world that we're living in. And so, hopping on Zoom and connecting with people that are like-minded like you and have same interests would really benefit you. And research actually shows that you tend to perform better when you are connected and feel this sense of belonging. And so a lot of the clubs and organizations are still meeting virtually. And so, I really encourage you to check that out on My Bar. The math department may also send out information. They have math clubs that you can join. But there's also things that are not related to your major as well, other clubs and organizations that you can join. Next is academic difficulties. We understand that this remote and virtual learning environment can be difficult, and so we are here to support you. There is tutoring via the Learning Resource Center. There's faculty that you can visit during office hours. The Advising Center is also here to help and support you as well. And then lastly is getting regular advising to stay on track. So definitely checking in. Your department will probably send out an email, once a semester, kind of letting you know what the advising module or structure looks like. And so just kind of keep your eyes open for that email. And I think Dr. Gibbons mentioned it's going to happen September 28th. Okay. So there's just some other things that I wanted to kind of explain. So I am going to talk a little bit about the curriculum sheet. This is going to be math specific, but the other slides will also be helpful for students that end up switching out of math. So let me go ahead and pull this up here. Okay. Can everyone see the screen with the curriculum sheet? Or if you can put it in the chat and let me know that you see it. Okay, perfect. Awesome, thank you. Okay, so this is what I wanted to share with you, and every major has what's called a curriculum sheet. I'm going to go through general education, which is going to be applicable to anyone, even outside of the math major, but also talk about some major required things. So most of the degrees at Cal Poly Pomona require 120 units in order to graduate. What that means is a student must complete everything listed on this curriculum sheet, along with completing 120 units towards graduation. So they must do both. So it's very, very important to understand. I'm going to go ahead and start off with general education. So for general education, there's a total of 48 units that you have to complete. There's different GE areas, 5 in total, that you must complete. Area A, Area B, Area C, Area D, and Area E. In these areas, there's also sub areas, and you must complete 1 course per sub area. And so area A totals 9 units, area B totals 12, area C is 12, area D is 12, and area E is 3 units. And so I'll show you in a second a list of courses that you can take in these different areas. There's also a link here that you can click to also show you that information as well. In addition to general education, there's also American institutions and American cultural perspectives, along with the graduation writing test requirement. What's really neat about this is when you take D1 and D2, which is US history and government, as a freshman or as an incoming freshman student, you will also then fulfill your American institutions and your American cultural perspectives requirement. Now, if you are a transfer student, I do want to highlight some things, and a freshman too. If you're a freshman and you took an AP test or an AP, you took an AP class and passed the AP test with a 3 or higher, you will most likely get some sort of GE credit. And I'm going to show you an example of that in just a second. If you are a transfer student, you at least have to take 3 upper division GEs here, which is a B5, C3, and D4. Those are kind of non-negotiable. You do have to take those classes here at Cal Poly Pomona. Now, if you are a transfer student, and let's say you took a US history and a government course, but on your degree progress report, it's still showing that you're missing American institutions or American cultural perspectives, you can email the advising center and we can help you to maybe see if we can petition some of that requirement. One of the things that I did want to mention is I'm going to be emailing all of these links, the PowerPoint that's included, and also I'm going to be recording this video, so I know someone asked for the links. You'll be getting all that information in the email, but I'll also go ahead and put it in the chat right now as well. Okay, so next, moving on, I want to talk about major. So again, depending on your major, this may change. So for right now, we're looking at the applied mathematics and statistics option. So for your major required, there's 57 to 61 units in this requirement. That means you have to take every one of the classes listed here. You do have some OR options listed. So for example, English 1101 or English 1103. Doesn't mean you have to take both, it's one or the other. Also, the biggest one is your science requirement. So you do have to take Physics 1510. However, you have the option of either taking Physics 1520 or taking the full biology series, which is a year of biology. So you have to make that distinction there, and you get to choose what you would like to do. In addition to these classes listed here, you also have what's called your subplan option required. This is 16 units. So you have to select 16 units from this list. So not taking all of these classes, just 16 units, and taking these classes to fulfill this requirement. And then lastly, you have 0 to 11 units. The reason why is, as I mentioned earlier, you have to complete everything listed on this curriculum sheet along with meeting the 120 unit requirement. Well, one of the things that I wanted to mention is, if we kind of zoom in a little bit, that some of these courses double count. What I mean by that is, for example, if you take Physics 1510, or not if, but when you do, because it's a required class, you also receive B1 and B3 credit. What that means is you also fulfill GE credit of B1 and B3. Because math has a lot of classes that double count, we have to have this area called unrestricted electives, which means you can take classes in anything. We just need to make sure that you meet every single class listed on this curriculum sheet, and you also meet the 120 unit requirement. Faculty advisors and the advisors within the advising center are very familiar with this requirement, so feel free to always reach out to us if you have any questions, just to make sure that you are on track to graduate with the 120 units. Next, I'm going to talk about the other degree option in math, which is secondary teacher prep or pure mathematics. I'm not going to go through general education just because I kind of talked about that. One of the things though that I did mention that I didn't mention in the previous slide is the graduation writing test, or the GWT. The graduation writing test has currently been suspended just for this fall term, and in spring we'll have more updates on what it'll look like. But normally it's offered in person, and so that's why it's been suspended. So if you are, let's say, encroaching upon the 60 unit timeline, or if you're a transfer student, you may already have more than 60 units, You don't need to worry about taking this exam because we're not going to penalize you for doing that. Everything else though that I mentioned for general education stays the same. Now, for major required, again, the same thing doesn't really change between applied mathematics and secondary teacher prep pure mathematics. So same courses here. You still have to take physics 1510, and then you have the option of taking physics 1520 or the full bio series. The thing that does change are these electives. 16 units are still required, but this is going to be a different list of electives than we previously saw on the other curriculum sheet. So this is where it's very important to partner with a faculty advisor to know, first of all, what's the difference between pure mathematics and applied mathematics, but secondly, to be able to differentiate and narrow down what types of electives you want to be taking in these 16 units. And then lastly, the same thing with unrestricted electives. You have 0 to 11 units as well that you can use to, again, meet the total unit requirement of 120 units. So as I mentioned in the previous slide, there's 3 tools that we like you to use in your time here at Cal Poly Pomona. One of them is the degree progress report, which I'm going to show you some screenshots for. The second is your curriculum sheet, which I just went through. The third is a roadmap. And again, every major has this information that is applied to every single major, regardless if you decide to change or not. There is what's called a roadmap. And this kind of pairs the classes that you have by year. So it has year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4. And it kind of shows you what order you should take the classes, in what terms, and what the prerequisites or the requirements are. Prerequisites means the definition of a prerequisite means that you have to take the course previously. So for example, to take the Stats 2200 class, you have to take Stats 2100 first. So that's very important to know, because then you need to make sure that you are planning diligently to take this Stats 2100 course before taking the 2200. On the roadmap, besides the prerequisites, it also has the unit information. So how many units are each course, and then when they're typically offered. So there's a little legend on the side here at the first page. F is for fall, SP is for spring, SU is for summer, E is for even years, O is for odd years. So it has all that information on here. So this is just a guide. You do not have to follow this exactly. It's just a guide that you can use in order to help plan and pair your classes. So they have one for applied, and they also have one for pure. Okay. Next is a GE course list in the university catalog. So let me go ahead and open those up for us here. So this is kind of the course list that I was mentioning. And again, you're going to get all these links. So the course list here kind of shows you per area what classes you can take. So a student will say, Ashley, you know, I need to take an A1. What classes can I take for an A1? So you can click this link here, and it tells you the difference between these 2 courses. Area A doesn't have that many options, but if we keep scrolling, Area C1 or C2, they have plenty of options that you can choose from. So you'd want to kind of go through and see which class appeals to you. Do you meet the prerequisites, etc. And you can always just click and it'll tell you exactly what it is. The neat thing about this tool is it tells you a quick description. It also tells you what the prerequisite is, which again means a class that you must complete before taking it. So for example, if you want to take Introduction to Folklore, you need to have taken area A2 first before taking this class. So it just kind of gives you that information there. The other reason why the catalog is helpful is you can always put in any course. So let's say you want to take Math 3140. You can click the search bar or search icon here. And this is our Introduction to Real Analysis course. It tells you how many units it is, which is 4. It tells you a description of the course, and it also tells you what the prerequisites are. So for Math 3140, the prerequisite is Math 3100 or Math 2140. So these are the 2 prerequisites that are required for this course. Okay. Next is, as I mentioned, so we talked about curriculum sheets. The other 2 tools are your degree progress report, which I'm going to talk about in just a second, and then the roadmap, which I already showed you. So these are 2 videos here. For the sake of time, I'm not going to play them, but you're going to get these links on how to find your degree progress report and how to find your transfer credit report. And so I wanted to show you some examples. So first of all, this is a screenshot of a student center. So this is a current student right now that has been admitted to the math major. This is what their schedule looks like. I wanted to highlight a few things. One is you have a holds box at the top right-hand corner. Holds means if we, but by the time registration happens, which again is going to start happening October 14th, you will want to check your holds box to make sure you have no holds listed here. So you shouldn't have an advising hold because we're not placing any advising holds because of COVID this term. But you may have, let's say, a financial hold, or you may need to update your immunization records. So you always want to make sure that you're checking this. If it says classes saved and there's some other very other kind of rare holds as well, they may not necessarily impact registration. So you can always click the details and it'll tell you if it impacts your registration. Classes saved is a pretty common one, and what that means is this student is receiving financial aid, and so for that reason, their classes have been saved, so they don't need to worry about payment, etc. Now, the next box is to-do list. So if there's anything on your to-do list, you want to try and take care of that before it moves up to the holds box. So this particular student may need to submit their immunization records. If they don't by a certain date, whatever is listed in the more section here, then they may turn into a hold, which will prevent them from registering for classes. The next thing is on your Student Center, your main screen, you also have an enrollment dates information. Enrollment date is, again, like I said earlier, you are going to be given specifically a specific date and time to register for classes. And that information will be posted in this box. That information usually isn't released until about 2 or 3 days before registration starts. So you'll be given a specific day and time and it'll be listed on your Student Center. So this is just kind of a quick screenshot and I wanted to kind of explain some of those details there. All right. Next is your degree progress report. So I kind of just want to dive into this just a little bit deeper. And so I took a screenshot here of a student. This is a freshman student who started in fall of 2020. Their degree or subplan option is secondary teach prep or pure mathematics. They started in fall 2020. That's very important to know. All of you are new students this semester at Cal Poly Pomona. So your curriculum year, you're going to need to know this, is 2020 to 2021 because you were admitted in this curriculum year. So for those of you that were thinking of changing your major, when you end up switching, you're going to be following the curriculum year again for 2020 to 2021 and that other major. So the reason why that this is important to know is because curriculum may change from year to year. We have a curriculum sheet for fall 2019, and we're going to have another curriculum sheet for fall 2021. And so it's important because you're held only to the standards of the year that you were admitted or the year that you changed your major. And so this is very important to know. In addition to that, though, you also have a GPA. So the reason why I know this is a freshman is because there's no GPA listed. If you were a transfer student, you would actually have an overall GPA listed here. And Cal Poly Pomona GPA, it's blank because you are this is all your first semester here at Cal Poly Pomona, and therefore you don't have a GPA. At the end of this semester, though, you will have a GPA listed in this box as well. The other thing I wanted to mention are your degree audit icons. So you have green check marks, yellow diamonds, red boxes. You're going to see all these different things on your degree progress report. Green check mark means you completed the requirement. Yellow diamond means you're currently enrolled or currently in progress. And a red box means requirement not complete. Now, in addition to this, at the very top of your degree progress report, you always want to click this button that says expand all. The reason why is there's a lot of hidden things listed here. And so to see everything that I'm going to show you in just a second, you have to always click expand all. Moving over, I just wanted to kind of share this screenshot with you as well. So at the very top of your degree progress report, this is the first thing that you'll see. And the second thing you'll see is this kind of screen here. And so it tells you here that there is 120 units required in order to obtain the mathematics degree. This particular student that I screenshotted, they're enrolled in 37 units or have taken 37 units. So it could be that maybe they are enrolled in 15 units this semester and then they have some units of AP. And so that tells us right at the top of the degree progress report how many units are still needed. So this is very important to know and monitor as you are kind of approaching graduation, because you have to fulfill the 120 units plus fulfill all the other red boxes that we're going to go through in just a second. There's some other areas about units, but as you approach graduation, you'll want to just make sure that these red boxes are also yellow diamonds or green check marks as you're fulfilling these requirements. Okay, so I wanted to show you a freshman example and a transfer example. So, oops. So for freshmen, a lot of students may have taken AP. So this particular example, this student took some APs. Again, we can only count AP credit if the student passed the AP test with a 3 or higher. So this particular student took some APs but did not necessarily pass them all. So this student took AP English and got a 3, so that's great. They also took AP Calculus BC and got a 3. So they got some credit here, and they also took AP Spanish. So this is just a quick snapshot of your transfer credit report, which again, that video that I referenced in a previous slide will kind of show you this information. But what I wanted to show you is they'll say, okay, a student will tell me, Ashley, I understand that I got credit here, but how does that look on my degree progress report? So I wanted to show you this particular student, again, like I said, got an AP English language credit of a 3. And so their area A2 requirement is marked off with the green check mark right here. I also wanted to show you this example because the student that we're currently looking at is also enrolled in public speaking. So then you can see a yellow diamond, and then they have to still fulfill a critical thinking requirement. So you still see a red box. So you have all 3 scenarios here in this screenshot. A currently enrolled class, a class that has already been completed because it has a green check mark, and a red box, which means a class that needs to be taken in the future. Next, I wanted to show you the transfer example. So for transfer, this is an example of a student who transferred from Mount SAC. They took a slew of courses here. This is just a quick little screenshot. I kind of blacked out the GPA and the grades that were earned. So it tells you exactly what the classes were that they received credit for. Again, though, a student may ask me, I want to see what that looks like on the degree progress report. So this is a screenshot. This particular student took Calculus 1 and Calculus 2 at the community college, so they have green check marks right here, already completed. It looks like this class, English, is not completed. Now, one of the things that I wanted to share for transfer students is the registrar's office is still currently processing all transcripts that were submitted. There may be some issues or there may be some errors on some of your degree progress reports. They are trying to get all of those fixed before registration for spring of 2021 begins. So you may not see all the green check marks right now, but they will eventually be there before you register for spring classes. Okay, so we're kind of wrapping up here, but some other helpful resources that I wanted to share with you. So, Advising Center website, and again, you're going to get all these links for this information. This is our website here, and we have a ton of information that we wanted to share. So here I am on the picture. We also have 3 other staff members in our office, and so we are here to support you and help you succeed. We have our advising email, so if you ever have a question, you can always email us. We also have permission number information. A lot of students may contact our office for a permission number, but we actually do not have permission numbers in the Advising Center. So we have some information here, and we have a list here of who you can contact if you do need a permission number. Also, if you ever have questions and you need to make an appointment with us, you can always do so via CPP Connect. So this is the link here to do that, and it tells you kind of what to do and how to follow that information. The last thing, though, is your career advisor. So we do have a career advisor. His name is Ed Venegas, and he does have drop-in hours, or excuse me, appointment hours Thursdays from 2 to 4. The reason why, or you may ask me, why do I need to meet with a career liaison and specialist? They can help you start planning for your future. So I always tell students it's never too early to start planning and thinking about what you're going to do after you graduate. So I just wanted to highlight that there. The rest of the links here, I'm not going to click through each one, but Bronco 411 is a directory. So if you're trying to find a specific email address for professor or instructor, or when we're back on campus, if you want to know where their office is located, you can always look at the directory here. The Learning Resource Center, I mentioned this and I'll mention this a little bit later as well. If you're struggling in a course, we have tutoring and workshops available for you. So we'd love to partner with you through the Learning Resource Center. So check out their website here. The other thing is a registration guide. So I'll click this one just because I do want to clarify. A lot of students think that at orientation, they all registered online in a big group setting. But when it comes to registering for spring and any term moving forward, you're going to be registering on your own. So this is a quick registration guide that can kind of help you. It explains enrollment appointments, which I just showed you. It explains holds, which I just talked about as well. But it also just shows you how to search for classes, how to enroll in classes, any troubleshooting errors. So this is just a very helpful troubleshooting registration guide. In addition to that, there's a Blackboard page. So Dr. Gibbons mentioned a Blackboard page, which is great. That's for all math majors. But for any College of Science major, there's also another Blackboard page that you were given access to at the time of orientation. We did not remove access for that Blackboard page, so it has a lot of important information and resources on that page as well. And then the last one is Student Success Central. This has a lot of information too. If you ever have questions, you can always find a ton of information on this website as well. And then just really quickly, I just want to emphasize this enough. If you are struggling in a course or in any of your courses, please feel free to reach out to the Advising Center, seek out tutoring, connect with your faculty during office hours. There's also the Counseling Center, a Disability Resource Center, and all of these offices are open and available to you in this virtual environment. And so we really encourage you to reach out, and we are definitely here to support you. The reason why is we want to see you succeed. We don't want to see your GPA fall. We don't want you to see you fail in any courses. And so we're definitely here to support you through this process. And then I just wanted to lastly kind of put this plug in. So there is 2 different resources that you can follow via social media. One is the Advising Center, so that kind of gives you all the advising need-to-knows and how-tos, and we have a bunch of videos on our YouTube page that we've created of just common questions that we receive from students. But we also have the College of Science overall social media sites as well. So Twitter and Instagram are 2 most common, then we also have a ton of videos on YouTube as well. So next we're going to just open it up for questions. I'm going to stop sharing here and also stop recording.